Hello and welcome to Nick V Uncensored. Today we've got Holly Celiano, and today we're going to be talking about Ripple XRP, Iraq, and also the Clarity Act, which is the first time I've heard of it as well. But Holly, thank you so much for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me back on. What have I been up to? Just keeping busy that we all do.
Of course, of course. Yeah, please do. You were going to say.
So I was going to say, I what I've done for today's show is I took notes again, and I just wanted to read through the notes, and then you and I can just talk about what I've talked about afterwards. So if that's okay.
Absolutely. Just before we begin, I want to let the viewers know that I'm just going to say a disclaimer because we want to stay on YouTube and use the Matrix tools to wake as many people as possible up. And we just have to be strategic. But that's just to say we're not financial advisors. This is all our opinions and research, and we're just observing the space and just having an open discussion. But we urge you to do your own research. Again, we're not financial advisors, and it's for educational and entertainment purposes only. But Holly, I'm really excited to hear it because I'm hearing a bunch of people saying XRP, people are just looking at the market cap. They're saying it's impossible, that it's going to go up really, really high. And then we've got another amount of people that are saying you can't apply market cap. It's just, this is, you're using an old system or an old method to determine the value of XRP, which is part of the new system. And we can't mix the old and the new together because it has a whole different structure. But I'll let you decide discuss. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so Ripple and XRP, they're a disruptor to the system. So that is what they're doing. Investment banks, crypto and blockchain are part of society now. So, 20 years ago, you never heard about cryptocurrency, blockchain. It wasn't even part of it. Now it's an everyday common occurrence that everybody's talking about it, and everybody is purchasing cryptocurrencies. So XRP has a timeline, and no one's talking about that timeline, but there is a definite timeline when it's going to just be transformed. So Jake Laver, he's the CEO of Digital Ascension Group. He says something big is about to happen. And once the first major financial shift happens in sequence, and global liquidity flows and follows. So we're waiting for this big thing to happen, and then it's going to be a sequence that's going to follow. So every day, investors need to follow the signals carefully. XRP will be a financial reset, and we keep hearing about a financial reset happening. XRP is the financial reset. We are in the preparation phase. Now, there's been so many different phases of this to come together. We're in the preparation phase right now. The partnership Ripple is in the formation, shows evidence something big is happening. Even the partnership of Ripple is showing that. So let's then talk about US debt. To pay off debts, you either raise the assets or you reduce the liabilities. But what if, just hypothetical, the US has a massive digital asset on its balance sheet and it's never been disclosed? Something like XRP. The US has seized, sold, and holds cryptos before, and this would offset the debt if, just hypothetically, governments have printed money on a digital system, and the governments have printed money, but on a digital system, you can't print your way out of debt or out of your problems. The US is disrupting itself purposely and deliberately. Look at where the chess pieces are moving. It's all being done deliberately. XRP is part of the next financial infrastructure. No one, not even Ripple, can revalue XRP by decree. There's not one single authority that can do that and set a new price. The only way it will increase is by demand and liquidity flows and utility. And once XRP starts being used at scale for settlements, once the rails and corridors are fully operational and the debt starts using digital servers, then you will see the increase in XRP and the price will respond. So, going back to your first question, this is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for that. And then the price will just automatically increase. If the US held XRP at, say, $250 and the markets took it to 2,000, that's 700 times in asset value, and the debt would change the government without printing money. So that's XRP and Ripple. Now let's segue to Iraq. Iraq has been moving towards reform and deletion of zeros. We keep hearing about deletion of 3 zeros, with projections of 322 to 425 to the dollar. This is not an economic story. It is history in motion. Iraq stands on the precipice of this financial transformation, and they are ready to transcend their past and write a new chapter of prosperity and strength. Now, along with Iraq, I was seeing today, they're talking about the ascension into the World Trade Organization. Now, we heard about this last year, and then it just kind of got tabled, and nobody's been talking about it again, but it's being brought up again in today's channels. This will improve markets' efficiencies by reducing prices and raising the quality of goods. So the WTO says Iraq needs to become a full member. We all thought they were a full member. Obviously, they're not. The monetary reform is at the float, and we are at the float stage right now. So everybody keeps talking about the Iraqi dinar floating. We're at that stage right now where we're going to see it float. So then we're going to move to another nugget is the Clarity Act. I know you said you've never heard of this, and I did a show on this last week about it. This creates a regulatory framework for digital assets by defining the jurisdiction between the SEC and the CFTC. It establishes clear rules for crypto assets, including consumer protection and market transparency. The Clarity Act has to be passed and is with the Senate right now. And Trump says he wants this done by Thanksgiving. So the Clarity Act is before they unleash all these cryptocurrencies and we start seeing the prices take off, they need to have an act around it that gives transparency and has clear rules. So we're waiting for that to get passed. And then I believe we're going to see all the prices start going up, especially XRP, XLM, all the stable coins. So that's really where we're at in a nutshell. And before Thanksgiving, well, that's next week here in the US.
Of course, and I'm coming over for Thanksgiving.
Oh, are you?
Yes, my fiance is, she's from Florida, and yeah, we're spending it together, which is great.
Nice.
So let's talk about that. So the Clarity Act. So you're saying, so let's just go back to the Clarity Act. We'll go backwards. Okay. So Clarity Act. So I'm suspecting this is an act that Trump wants to sign, so that there's transparency in what?
In the cryptocurrencies, because we're moving to this digital age. The new financial picture is all going to be digital. And you have to have transparency and you have to have rules on there so that we don't have the old school of doing banking where they take your money, hold it for 3, 5, 10 days, trade it on the back screens before then you get your wire transfer. So done are those days. It's done in real time. It's at lightning speed, done within seconds. And you can trace every single blockchain. So they want to make sure before we fully move into this next phase of the digital financial age that they have the rules in place and transparency. And Trump has even said he wants to make the US number one in the crypto world. So he's setting clear, defined rules in place around that.
So how do we know that it's not just, is it, clarity for the people, or is it, more clarity hidden in disguise, but surveillance for the government?
I don't believe it's surveillance, though, then you start going into the cabal, like they're going to be watching everything. I believe moving into the digital age, it's all got to be transparent. They need to see what's being done because there's not going to be these black markets of trading money, passing money. Everything will be out in the open.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm hearing that XRP obviously is going to replace a Swift, like what you said as well, and and there's a very good window there for people to buy XRP and make lots of money, and it goes up. But I'm hearing that you should have an exit plan for XRP, because it's not completely sovereign, and to be sovereign, you need, Bitcoin and gold and real estate and stuff like that.
Well,
So
Bitcoin is not sovereign. Bitcoin is like a fiat dollar. It's not backed by anything. So XRP and XLM are going to be backed by gold and XLM silver. There's going to be these cryptocurrencies coming out that are asset backed. So they do have real value.
Bitcoin's value is the fact that it's capped to 21 million.
Mhm.
That's the value there. Only 21 million people in the world can only have one Bitcoin each, but you can split it, of course. And the other thing with it is nobody owns Bitcoin. It's mined by developers around the world as a network. So there is no CEO, it's not decentralized. And the reason why it has value is because it offers freedom, where people can move money around outside of the system. Whereas XRP, it has Ripple. They have control over XRP. It could be potentially programmable, XRP. I don't know. It could be. I think it's great to have XRP in my opinion. But when it goes up, I believe that you should buy gold with it, and you should buy Bitcoin, and you should really put it into bricks and mortar like real estate. Um, because you just don't know in this digital world. I don't know.
Right,
This is from what my research is.
right.
Um, but what do you think about that?
You know what? Definitely you want to diversify. Take your profits and put it elsewhere. Because in a digital age, it could be here and then just wiped out. That's the one thing with digital that people are a little leery about, that, they could just have some control and just take it. Like a lot of people on these exchanges, like Lobster, I've heard a lot of people lost their crypto, like it just vanished overnight on there. I've been told
Yeah.
that's been cleaned up, but I heard that story years ago. So you have to just be, in any type of these investments, you have to diversify. Don't just hold all your eggs in one carton. Take some and buy gold, silver, other
Sure.
real estate, things that will never lose value.
Absolutely. And if people decide to buy any kind of cryptocurrency, is not to keep it on Coinbase or Binance or Lobster, like what you said. I really recommend you should take it offline and have a ledger so that you own it
Yes.
offline, and then that way, that's really how you have freedom, because you're not regulated by the FCA, where they
Correct.
can just freeze how much you withdraw or something like that. Um,
Exactly.
so yeah, interesting. Let's talk about Iraq. I've left Iraq at the end because I think Iraq is special, because before it was suppressed, there's been lots of wars in Iraq from that America, I say Israel behind America, instigating all these wars, who've kept Iraq's rate suppressed and the currency really, really weak. Because if we see before Iraq's wars and before the suppression, I think at one stage we saw $3 something for one
It was
Iraqi dinar.
322.
322.
before the war.
Tell
Before
us
the
about that.
Yeah. So before we went to war with Iraq, the US, they were at $3.22. Then we went to war with them and their, currency has just gone down, 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 down. So we're looking for them to revalue, and it's supposed to be between $3.22 to $4.25 is what they are projecting.
Absolutely. Um, and we saw this happen with Kuwait because people, if you have a million, you're saying that if you have a million, for an example, dinars, which are very, very cheap, and a lot of people are buying them. If it goes to $3, that means that I could have $3 million. I could
Yes.
go and exchange that back. And is that what happened in Kuwait when it revalued?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us a little bit.
Yeah. So people that own that, now they didn't have to go through all the rebuilding of their government from the ground up like Iraq has. I mean, it has been decades that Iraq has been working on rebuilding their country, rebuilding their government, putting everything in place. Kuwait did not have to do that. We had their war, people that held that, they revalued overnight and they were instant millionaires. So they knew this was going to happen in Iraq. I know people, couple of people that were part of the Kuwaiti revaluation, and they've been waiting for this Iraqi revaluation for decades. But they knew back then it happened with with Kuwait, that it was going to happen with Iraq.
Absolutely. Now, I asked John this question, and I want to ask you this question because I might get a different answer, and I like to ask these questions. Now, recently, I don't know why, but recently, I've got a few people ask me, Nick, where can I buy Iraqi dinar? Obviously, it's very difficult to buy Iraqi dinar outside Iraq because it's actually illegal for Iraq to sell Iraqi dinars outside of Iraq because they don't trade internationally. Um, I'm going to leave the link below in the description for that. Who we trust, we've used. I buy myself all the time. I always top up and I diversify. Um, but why is it just recently that a few people have got some emails who've come forward and they've said we want to buy some Iraqi dinar? Why are they asking me now all of a sudden? And what do you think is happening geopolitically with Iraq that's causing people to want more Iraqi dinar?
Well, the spotlight has been on, Iraq, and those that are not familiar with Iraq and what's going on, that are just coming into this whole revaluation, they want to purchase the dinar. And so go to a reputable company to buy it, because there has been a lot of printed bogus Iraqi dinars out there. So you want to make sure you're purchasing it from a reputable exchange dealer or foreign currency dealer. So if you have a link below, then check that out. I'm sure you've done your research, and we'll provide only a credible source for getting that. But I think there's a lot of new people that are just jumping on to this revaluation, where those of us that have been in this for a long time, we know about it, we've heard about it, it's nothing new, but the newbies are the ones looking, where can I get it? Where can I purchase?
Absolutely. And we've been waiting for a long time. I found this out about 6 years ago and I've been buying ever since. And I've been just topping up, like I said, I diversify. I think that's the wisest thing to do in these unprecedented times. But there's been a lot of delays, even when we thought Trump would, expose things and we would hear big things happening. And back, during the lockdown, we thought this is it. We're going to see revaluations. This is it. But it looks like things are happening. Biden, they stole the election. Biden got in. Trump then gets in, and now things are just starting to warm up. Do you think we're close?
I do believe we're close based on who I talk to and just following the markets in the world, where we are with what's going on in the world. Now, a lot of people get frustrated because there are intel gurus out there that pump it every day. It's happening. It's going. We're going to revalue now. Like it's this week. And that is where people get very frustrated listening to that. And a lot of this stuff is put out to them deliberately to, there'll be sting operations. I've read just recently there were hundreds of bankers, again, just arrested. So things are put out to the gurus to be a sting operation because they need to clear out all the garbage that's out there that would hijack this once this goes. So it's been years of sting operations, years of thousands of people's, being arrested that are sleeper cells in this. So people get activated that are sleeper cells, and they disrupt the system. So they have one shot at getting this right. They have to make sure that the system is clean, ready to go. All the people that would be disruptors have been removed. So what I'm getting is we have done just another massive sting operation, and things are clear and they are set to go. I will not say when because nobody knows when. Until it actually happens, then we'll know it's gone. But anybody that's, saying, oh, it's going to go Tuesday, my sources said, please don't listen to that. That'll just be make you go crazy listening to that nonsense.
Absolutely.
Especially people hanging by a thread waiting for this. Every time they hear that, they get excited. You have to be really emotionally grounded to be in this for the long haul and not be emotionally attached to the outcome. It's one of those, I know it's going to happen, but I'm not emotionally attached to it happening. When it happens, it'll be wonderful.
Absolutely. And also Trump in 2017 mentioned that he's worried about the devaluation of currencies, and he wants an all level playing field to compete and trade fairly. And very recently, within the last couple of months, Judy Shelton also said the same thing about a level playing field of currencies. So they're slowly revealing it, slowly telling us, I think we're getting closer.
Yes. Well, Judy Shelton is also on the board of Ripple. Did you know that?
I did not. Tell me more.
Yes. Yeah, she's on the board of Ripple. She also used to be U.S. Treasury. So she's a key player. When she speaks, I pay attention to what she's saying because she's involved in the U.S. Treasury and on the board of Ripple. So she's very dialed into what's going on.
Absolutely. Holly, thank you very much for sharing everything with us today. It's been a really good pleasure. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
Just, what? Stay grounded, stay positive. It's happening. Don't listen to the hype out there and just follow the signs of what's going on globally, and we will get there. But the Clarity Act is a big deal. So Trump saying he wants that before Thanksgiving, I would say that's a good sign of things to come.
Absolutely. That's very interesting. Holly, thank you very much. And don't forget to click on the link below for Iraqi dinars and other currencies. And Holly, we'll speak again very soon. You take care and God bless.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.